You are not just another hustling salesperson. You are the expert, the resource, the valuable partner for your clients. And how you grow your business should reflect how your clients see you. Welcome to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. We generate referrals without asking, build positive client experiences, and help you take control of your business. Here's your charmingly sarcastic host, Stacey Brown Randall.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 153 of the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Brown Randall. Okay, we are continuing on in this journey about the client experience. And today we're going to talk about the bottom line impact. So I'm going to make a very bold statement, one you may not expect to hear me make. Actually, yes, you will when you actually hear me explain it, but it may at first catch you by surprise. Or maybe not. There is a bottom line impact of the client experience that goes beyond just referrals. Say what? Yes, it's true. I want you to be referable, which means I need you to have a client experience that makes you referable, that makes you worthy of those referrals. But there is actually reasons beyond just getting referrals why we need to have that amazing, sticky client experience. So let's dig into the other reasons that impact your bottom line as to why having a client experience is so important. I could have put this episode towards the end of the series and explained all the nuts and bolts of the client experience, which I will next episode, but I could have put this all together, the why you should do this at the end of this series after I've taught you everything you need to know about a client experience, except for I need to make sure you're making a commitment to this idea of a client experience. So I'm going to try to get you all fired up about why your client experience matters so very much. And truthfully, I'm actually just going to scratch the surface with all the amazing reasons as to why you should have a client experience. But I'm going to hit on the ones that have the biggest impact to your bottom line. So, and I know that you're probably thinking, okay, fine, we'll talk about the bottom line impact, Stacey. You'll tell me why it's so very important. And then you'll get to actually teaching me and unpacking my client experience and building a new one for my business. All right, so just stick with me. Usually, again, like I said, I could have put this at the end, but I'm putting it now because I want to use it for you to get excited, for you to start thinking about a commitment to maybe looking at your client experience. And maybe yours only needs tweaks. That would be incredible. Most of the time when people go through my Sticky Client Experience program, what they learn and what they realize is, hey, I've got this client experience. It's not very intentional, but I do have this client experience framework. And so they use that and then they just make it better based on some of the things that I teach. Very rarely does somebody need to completely overhaul their client experience, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So I want to get you to that place too. I want to get you to the place where you're actually breaking down and nailing the different stages of your client experience and getting all going. But until then, until we get there, I first want to make sure that you are making the commitment to do this work with me. So this is the why the client experience is so important to your business. And again, straight to the point, spoiler alert, bold statement, the number one reason why a client experience matters is for referrals. Of course, if you've been following me for any length of time, listening to this podcast, you read my first book, Generating Business Referrals Without Asking, you're not surprised at all that I said that. Because we know that the easiest and most cost-effective way to grow a business is by receiving referrals. Clients who are referred to you are less price sensitive, easier to close, quicker to close, more loyal, and have a greater chance of referring other new clients to you. You know this, I know this. Referrals are the holy grail of the new client development and lead generation strategies. And the truth is, no one refers a company they do not trust, does crappy or subpar work, or has a choppy client experience. A fundamental truth of being referable is having a business worth talking about or sharing with others. And with a strong client experience, you position yourself as one worthy of referrals. All businesses with a strong client experience deserve referrals. That's you, my friend. But that doesn't mean you are owed them. Yep, you've heard me say that before. It all starts with how your clients feel about doing business with you. But like I said at the very beginning, there is actually more of a bottom line impact that extends or goes beyond just referrals. So whereas I think it's the number one reason why a client experience should matter to you is to get those referrals, there is actually some really other great reasons why you need to have a client experience. So let me break those down for you. So number one, client experience matters because of referrals. Number two, the client experience matters because it can help you surpass your competition. You know what's really crazy? If you've ever looked up the statistics on the number of small businesses, not just, of course, in the United States, but across the world, right? There are, oh my gosh, so many of them, right? Like millions of them, millions and probably billions, I guess, if you added it all up together, of small businesses. Like in the United States, there's like 30 million small businesses. In the UK, there's like 5.8 million small businesses. In the UE, the European Union, there's like 20 million small businesses. In Australia, there's just under 1 million small businesses. Now, of course, all of these countries define what a small business size is differently, which I find fascinating. Like the United States defines a small business as less than 500 employees. I do not think that is a correct definition, but of course I am not with the Small Business Administration and I do not set those details or those kind of parameters. But I like how other countries define small businesses. Like in the United Kingdom, it's less than 50 employees, right? It's 1 to 49 employees. In the European Union, it's defined as having less than 250 employees. Even that's better than how we define it here in the States. And in Australia, I really like this one too. They define small businesses as fewer than 20 employees. I think of a small business as like less than 50. Like I really like how Australia and the UK kind of define it. But again, of course, here in the States, we say it's less than 500 employees. I think if you've got like 499 people running around your company, you are probably thinking to yourself, there's nothing small about me. There's nothing small about all those employee headaches and all those different issues you have to mitigate and the risk you have to consider and things. But anyway, sorry, that was just an aside. But if you're thinking about your client experience, it actually helps you surpass the competition because you probably have a ton of it. I mean, businesses continue to pop up around the world. Even in the middle of a pandemic, people are starting businesses, of course, right? But if we just look at how competitive the environment is, in the U.S. alone, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 20% of small businesses will fail in their first year, 30% will fail in their second year, and 50% will fail after hitting the 5-year mark. Now, you guys know I know all about being a member of this business failure club all too well. My business fell into the category of not making it quite to the 5-year mark, made it just over 4 years. So, of course, right, I know that all too well, and I know that that means competition is fierce as well as our ability to run a business. So what's really, really crazy is that I think those statistics are pretty bad, right? So again, they were 20% fail in their first year, 30% fail in their second year, 50% will fail after 5 years in business. But here's let's add a little bit more insult to injury. 70% will fail after their 10th year in business. Okay, it's like basically all of them. But that's not true because we know many, many make it as well, right? But when you think about your client experience and your ability to be competitive and to be different and have a differentiator to your business against or over your competition, right? A lot of companies view their client experience as their competitive differentiator. Companies believe, 81%, according to Dimension data, 81% of companies believe that their ability to stand out against their competition is largely rooted in their client experience. And what companies of all sizes have begun to recognize is that if they take the time to create and implement a client experience, they can create a unique client relationship that becomes difficult for a competitor to duplicate. Nobody can duplicate the relationship that you specifically have with your clients. But that means you got to have one, right? Of course. So reason number 2 that you should have a client experience is because it'll help you surpass your competition. Reason number 3 you should have a client experience is brand reputation. So I think this is another really key argument to make about why a CX is important for your business is because, and that's really, guys, I mean, this podcast is built for our small business owners, and not the way the US defines it, way smaller, right? But this podcast is built for our small business owners, people who've the solopreneurs, the me, myself, and I club, right? Party of one. and those that just have a handful of employees, right? 5, 10, 15 employees. Of course, I know there are others that listen to this podcast, like sales professionals and other team leaders that are going to get what they need and glean the little nuggets and be able to take it back to their team or to their company. But I really build this podcast and all of my programs for our smaller business owners and solopreneurs. And so I know this argument matters for companies of all sizes, but also when you're small. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being small, right? So there are many statistics and data points that reveal what our clients are sharing and talking about when they're talking about our companies. So there's some Deloitte research that's out that says customers tell an average of 9 people about a positive experience with the brand, but they will tell 16 people about a negative experience. So at least they're telling 9 about your positive and too bad 16 about that negative experience. But there's another survey by Drift that says 23% of customers with a positive experience told at least 10 people about it. Now, just because they're talking about your company doesn't necessarily mean that's going to translate into referrals, but it does mean it's going to translate into a whole bunch of word of mouth buzz and a whole bunch of brand reputation. And your reputation in the marketplace and your local community on a regional level or on a national level will grow. So how people feel about your business means what they say about your business and how many people they tell and who they tell and what they are saying. So when we think about the need to really have a client experience, it's because when people think positively about our company and interact positively about our company, then it grows our brand reputation because people are out there running their mouths, right? And we want them saying those positive things. That doesn't mean everybody's going to love you. Of course not, right? I mean, not everybody loves me, and that's okay. That's not what we're here for. But it does mean when we think about our brand reputation, the buzz factor, right? That reputation grows by more and more people experiencing that positive, that sticky client experience. And you know what I love about this is a whopping 92% of consumers are more likely to believe suggestions from friends and families over advertisements. Okay, well, we kind of know that, right? And of course, that goes right back to referrals as well. And 88% of consumers also trust online reviews from strangers as much as sometimes they trust recommendations from people that they know. So people saying positive things about your business is really, really important, right? So this means what is said about you or written about you in the marketplace. Your brand reputation matters more and more in today's competitive environment. Okay, now let's look at the fourth reason why you should have a client experience and why you should take the time and energy to not only listen to this mini series, but then actually do the things I'm going to tell you to do. And then, of course, next year when the book is out, maybe buy the book too and go through it as well. Okay. Number fourth reason why you should have a client experience. Repeat clients and client retention, right? So again, let me just go ahead and say this again. My first love is generating and receiving referrals as a business owner because it means that my clients or my contacts, my COIs, find what I do so valuable that they tell someone else about me and encourage them to work with me. It really makes my heart sing. Every time somebody says, hey, I want to connect you with this person because they need you, I know I get to matter to somebody new. And the person who is saying, hey, you need to hire Stacy, I know I matter to them enough that they put their reputation on the line to tell somebody about me. But there is actually something I love just as much as getting that referral that makes my heart sing, that makes me feel good about how I help people. There is something I love just as much. And it's actually when one of my clients or students, as you guys know I call you, but it's actually when one of my clients buys from me a second or third time. So in my case, maybe they came in to my Growth by Referrals program, and then they decided to level up at the end of their first year and join the Referral Ninja Inner Circle so I could continue to support them. Right? My ability to impact their world gets to continue when they go from the Growth by Referrals program and then go into the inner circle, right? And I know that means they trust me to continue to guide them on their journey. Or when a client from my Growth by Referrals program or Sticky Client Experience program joins my Goal Finishers Club, which is a completely separate program, but they want to continue learning from me and trust me to hold them accountable to reach their goals. Trust me. I know these clients by name, like all of them, and I know things about them, right? Because they truly are not only my ideal client in terms of the fact that they are the right person for my programs, but they also trust me and allow me to continue to help them. And then, of course, they continue to invest in me. They are the ones who believe wholeheartedly in what I teach and never fail to listen and take action on what I've taught them. I mean, they may not take action right away, but they eventually take action. And they report back to me on all the successes they are having. Those are special humans. My repeat clients, your repeat clients, they are very special humans. Right? And I'm guessing you probably love your repeat clients too. Now, not everybody listening obviously has repeat clients. Sometimes you only work with someone once, but still, if you do have repeat clients, you know how amazing it is and how much easier it is to sell to those people, right? To get them to come back as a repeat client versus getting them to say yes the first time, right, in the beginning. So, and the statistics reveal how valuable that loyalty and love towards your business is from a bottom line perspective, right? So having that amazing client experience, making people want to come back to working with you again, right? That's so valuable. Like, there's so much data to support this, right? There's like, actually in my book, when I was like writing out all the different data to support this whole concept of having a client experience, because it makes your clients repeat clients, right? And kind of creates that connection back to your business, right? It kind of builds that client retention and gets you those repeat clients. It's like an entire page, and that's just bullet points of the research that supports this. So here's some of it, right? And I'm not going to source these, but just know that we do source them in the book, but I'm not sourcing them right this second. It costs between 5 and 10 times more to attract a new client than to keep an existing one. The probability of selling to an existing customer is around 60 to 70% compared to 5 to 20% for a new customer. 73% of consumers say a good experience is the key to influencing their brand loyalty. Loyal customers are worth 10 times the amount they initially spent. That is so the case with me. I've completely seen that happen in my business. Customers are likely to spend 140% more after a positive experience than customers who report negative experiences. And companies that provide an emotional connection with customers outperform the sales growth of their competitors by 85%. Okay, one more, I can't help myself. Client retention leads to an increased cross-selling and upselling by 32%. These are some bottom line reasons why we should be focused on those repeat clients that come from having that sticky, wonderful, amazing, positive client experience. And so guys, keep this in mind. The more saturated your market, the more important it becomes for your company to rise above your competition, increase your brand reputation, and nurture your clients to not only stick around, but to become repeat clients as well. Plus, get more referrals. So there you have it. Those are the 4 reasons why you should be focused on having a client experience. It's really important. And we've been unpacking it in the last couple episodes, and we're going to keep going. That's right. We got more coming up. But of course, you can find what you need from this episode on the show notes page at stacybrownrandall.com/153. And I know I've said this a few times, but I'm going to say it one more time. If you haven't yet left a rating or review of this podcast, Roadmap to Grow Your Business, would you please take a moment and leave one? The show reaches more business owners and sales professionals just like you through the number of ratings and reviews we have. It's one of the best ways to actually get the show out there to more people is actually to have more reviews. Okay, coming up next week is episode 154, and we're going to actually start looking at the nuts and bolts, the pieces of the client experience. Until then, take control and grow your business. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. To access all resources and links mentioned in today's show and to connect with Stacy, head over to www.stacybrownrandall.com.